Hey guys, and welcome to the functions lecture. A function is a reusable organized block of code that is meant to perform a single related action. Functions are actually incredibly useful for organizing some of our code. So let's go and start ahead with learning how to create a function. So you would start a function with the keyword def, which specifies that a function definition will follow, followed by the function name, which for the following example we'll use SumList, followed by parentheses and a colon. You'll note right away that function blocks are actually indented, similar to loops and conditionals that we learned about earlier. So inside of the parentheses in a function, you would actually pass the parameters, which are an in-order set of arguments that the function can use to fill its operations. So let's go ahead and start with our function SumList. What this function is going to do is take in a specific list as a parameter and then calculate the sum of all of the values inside of that list and print it out to the screen. Based on what we learned earlier, we actually know how to do this. We can start off with a sum 0 and then use a for loop to go through all of the values inside of the list, which in this case we can call lister, and then we're going to have sum plus equals x, and then you would print sum. It's a really simple example right here. Now if we were to go ahead and run this code, you'd actually see that it does nothing. So let's try that, run module. As you can see, nothing, and that's because we have not called this function. The Python interpreter hasn't found, it's only found a definition for a function, but it hasn't actually had any calls to that function. So we can do that right here. We can create a lister equals 1, 2, 5, 2, and then we can call sum list on lister. Run module, source must be saved, and we get 10 as expected. You can note how we have the variable lister here, which is passed as an argument to SumList, and the lister here, which is a parameter to SumList, used here, but they're not quite the same, and that becomes pretty evident if, say, we make this lister1 and we run the module and we get the exact same thing. Now, we're going to cover this more when we talk about pass by reference versus pass by value. But for now, you should see that one is an argument while one is a parameter, and they're not quite the exact same thing. Now, I want to talk about returning values from functions. For our function SumList, we opted to just print the sum. Alternatively, what functions can do is return variables and objects, and so we can actually try that right now. We can have our lister1, and then we can actually create a variable sum over here, which is going to use SumList for what its value will be, and we can pass in lister1. And then we're going to print off sum here. But what needs to happen for this to be interpreted correctly is that SumList must actually return the sum. Right now, we're just printing off the sum and nothing's really happening, and you can use the return keyword followed by what you want to return, and then this function will exit. And if we try this right now, run the module, you'll see that we still get 10. I want to go in more detail on this, but for now that's it for the lecture, and I'll see you guys in the next one.